My name is Jim Hocking, and my rank was bosun's mate 3rd class. Following boot camp, I was assigned to USS Davis, DD 937. Well, I knew I was going to get a destroyer. I was on 2 weeks leave, and the orders that I had was to report aboard the Davis in Newport, Rhode Island. So I went with a couple of friends to Newport, only to find out that the ship was in Boston. It was a very cold night when I reported aboard. We drove to Boston from Newport. It was very late at night now, and I was walking down the pier. It was very cold, and my first impression, I could see the bow because the ship was faced inboard. I could see the letters, the numbers 937, and then I could hear the steam lines because the ship was cold, and the steam lines were smoking and making steam noise. When I went aboard Davis that very first night, I went down. I was brought to a compartment up forward underneath the 5-inch 54 gun forward, and I got the bottom rack. It was a canvas rack with rope tied around it to hold it to a aluminum frame and a mattress. And I slept there that first night, and I can't remember whether it was a good night's sleep or not. But I was also, when I woke up in the morning, I was told that there was nobody there to give me a duty assignment. So I hitchhiked home. Spent 2 more days at home and finally got back. But the quarters were tight. We had about 35 men in a very small, tight space. The bunks were 3 high. The lockers they were upright lockers on this ship. But you still had to put the bunks up in the morning, trice them up. Sleeping was never a problem for me in those days. The name of the captain was Edward J. Mountford, and the ship itself, if you go from bow to stern on the main deck, you had a 5-inch 54 gun. On the O1 deck forward, you had a twin mount of 3-inch 50s. If you went beyond the bridge, then you would be in the bridge area, but I'm staying on the down decks. You would get amidships, and amidships they had twin torpedo tubes, one on either side. They were triplet tubes, but there was one on either side of the ship. You had a mast, and then you went further aft, behind the second stack. There was another mount of 3-inch 50, and then there was also the one deck down. You had on the second deck you had another 5-inch 54, and then when you got down to the main deck aft, you had another 5-inch 54. The bridge was a typical bridge. We had a brass wheel. We had the engine telegraph. We had a status board where we could log all the contacts that were given us from CIC, and bridge wings on either side, of course. And above the bridge, we had a gun director. There was another gun director back aft, and as you get down below decks, the galley was a little forward of amidships. The compartment for the bow, for the bosun's mates, the 1st Division, was below the 5-inch 54 gun forward. Then there was a line locker and a paint locker, all of that, forward of that and going down in the deck. On the forecastle, we had twin anchors. We had a Danforth and a standard Navy anchor. We had a capstan. Only one anchor at a time could be operated around the capstan. And